go to this event that I'm supposed to go to and get some other work done that I got to get done. But y'all, me and my family, we've gone back to the 90s. We're back in the 90s. And I'm noticing that my family is having breakthroughs. Look, I realized that a lot of things in the 90s did work, y'all. It did, y'all. Me and my family, we've started um, we've started doing some 90s stuff, and I'm noticing that we're working on our problems more peacefully. So I'm going to share some things that I'm doing that's from the 90s and that my family's doing from the 90s that's actually improving things. So hopefully we'll get more people in here and we can talk about this more. Now, some people are going to argue with me about the 90s, but I was there. I was a teenager, so I know that a lot of things in the 90s did work. Okay? So, we'll wait till we get more people in here. I'm not responding to negative energy or attacks. I'm not getting into it in the arguments in the comments. I really don't look too much at the comments, so I won't know about the attacks anyway. So hopefully we'll get more people in here. Let me just make sure I'm on the right channel. Okay, so I'm back, y'all. So look, I'm gonna tell y'all, like, a lot of us was protected in the 90s. A lot of us was protected from the dark side or energy. We was. Um, a lot of reasons why we were is because a lot of things we were doing was actually fun. And we was just all about having fun with each other. Um, the constant competitive energy that's out here now, it's jacking up people's cortisol levels, it's jacking up people's hormones. People really jacking each other up with the toxic competition and bag chasing, fighting over money and all that. We didn't really do that in the 90s. We was just mindful of the money that we did make. We was just minding our own business about our own money. We really wasn't like all up in everybody else's pockets. Like, we really didn't care. We was just all about making our own money, looking good, and doing fun things. Um, with me and my family now, we're just minding our business. We're not even trying to. We don't really care what other people are doing. We're really not. We're not in the energy of today, and we're noticing the environment is less toxic between us. So we make big meals down and eat those meals through the week. Not all that like hardcore cooking every day, fancy meals, nothing real fancy. Just eat, cooking what we gotta cook and eating what we gotta eat. That's what we did in the 90s. And actually, we wasn't that thirsty to eat food. We actually would go all day without food. And if we did eat, we might eat something with sugar in it. Now, this is going to seem real weird to some of y'all because some of y'all may be against sugar, but I recently found out that um, we've been wrong about sugar. It's how much sugar you have through your day, but it's okay to have sugar. So one of the things that me and my family started doing is we started having a piece of gummy sugar like this. We have a piece of this in the evening hours. Okay? People don't realize, like, not enough sugar in your body can create like hunger hanger moments. It could cause arguments, like you start getting toxic, frustrated, low spirited, like low blood sugar levels is nothing to deal with. You can still get demon possessed by having too many low blood sugar levels through your day and lack of energy. So in the evening hours, for me, after 3 o'clock, I allow myself to have, you know, a piece of gummy sugar like this one. We also got the orange slices that are all natural. So I have a piece of those. Now some days if I'm not if I'm real busy, I'll have like two slices at least. Okay? I went back to eating sugar when I realized that you can only eat but so much fruit, and fruit don't work like it used to. It wasn't even working all like that back in the 90s, and we knew this. Um, our food is just not working like it used to back in the 1950s and the 1800s. It's just not. So we started, getting a little bit of sugar in our diet at some point, like twice a day. Um, there's a guy on YouTube named Dorian Ryder, I think that's his name, and he talks about having like sugar in your diet. So that's something we started doing, my family started doing, that we used to do in the 90s. So like around lunchtime or after lunchtime, I'll have a piece. I'll have like something with sugar in it. I just find that I'm still tapped in. I'm still creative. I'm just not fatigued or burnt out or anything like that. Um, so another thing is we don't really talk unless we got something important to say. So unless we got something important to say, or we want to make each other laugh, or something like that, we don't mind the silence. We just let it be quiet when it want to be quiet. This is a problem in families now. A lot of people feel like they always got to be talking. If 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 people just learn how to sit around each other more and just chill and kick it and just vibe a little bit every now and then, it would be a lot more peaceful. Like that's what me and my family do now. We will say a little bit and then not talk for a while, say a little bit and not talk for a while. I'm finding that it's helping us to maintain our breakthroughs. So I just wanted to share a few things that me and my family's doing. We're doing 90s stuff again, y'all. Like when I get off this video right now, I'm going to be looking at some poetry, creative resources, some books, and doing something creative. That's what we used to do around lunchtime or right after lunch. We would normally go into a creative class or an art class, or we'd start going into our art classes at that point when we was in school. So I'm doing the same thing. I'm not going to be hanging out on social media all the way till 4 o'clock like a lot of people do, or these platforms. I'm gonna be either doing something fun. Normally after 3 p.m. when we was in school, it was a lot of fun stuff like gym, swimming class. Um, we might have had basketball practice, music practice, creative writing practice, history class or fashion design class or something. And we would go to these creative classes and creative workshops and creative opportunities like up until 8 p.m. normally. We would go from lunch to 8 p.m., 8 or 9, and then we would go home, clean up, get our clothes out, and maybe take a nighttime shower. Maybe then we would eat our last meal by 8:30 p.m. And then we read a little bit, maybe write a little bit more, maybe journal about our day, and then go to sleep. That's how we did it in the 90s. If it was on the Fridays and the weekends, we would stay up a little later. We would stay up later, have a couple of drinks, smoke or whatever, and just chill and kick it. Or we, go to the movies or go to the mall, or, go on some bus rides, train rides, or whatever. The important thing you don't want to miss if you want to fix your family, is creativity. Creativity literally can save a family. There's people who had families where they all got together and they worked on a creative project and the healing began. So in the 90s, that's what we did. We, instead of complaining and crying about the system constantly and dwelling on it, we found something fun to do. When our spirits were low, we had fun. We always ran towards fun. That's what me and my family's doing. We have canceled modern day vacations. We had a modern day, present day vacation scheduled. We canceled it. We decided to keep our money and do vacations that we did back in the 90s, which saved us hundreds of dollars. We might have only spent $300 because we maybe drove, we got on the road, or we did an outdoor vacation, or we just did fun things where we lived at. It's time, y'all, for us to leave this toxic time period. Leave it as much as you can. Go back to dancing. Go back to go to some safe nightclubs. Go out for drinks. Meet with a friend later every day and have a drink. Maybe make margaritas out of your home if you drink, or maybe work on some juice recipes, in the morning and before you go to bed. Bring the kids in the kitchen and make a juicy juice for the next day. The point that I'm saying is, we know in this time period, everyone's arguing about politics, race, gender, sexuality, money, pocket money, competing. Leave it all, y'all. I'm telling you, just leave it all. Consider selling your stuff the old-fashioned way, just so you can protect your peace. Consider doing things that we did in the 90s. We went to the library, we went to the museums, we went to the zoo, we went to the farms, we went on road trips, all of that stuff. Why do we gotta stop? And people say, well, the prices ain't that high. I think a lot of people are exaggerating. The reason why the prices are so high to some people is because they're spending way too much money. If you don't spend as much money, you spend like we spent in the 90s, you will actually have more money. Back in the 90s, a lot of us had one bag of clothes, literally, per 2 seasons. Nowadays, people got closets and closets worth of stuff and saying that the prices is high. It's actually not. If you live like you lived in the 90s, if you live like we lived in the 90s, you will actually have more money. We didn't have 20, 30 pair of earrings. We might have had a couple pair of earrings and that's it. We had the same friends. We weren't embarrassed about doing free stuff. We were always looking for free opportunities. Tickets on sale. We wasn't embarrassed to do that stuff. And we weren't trying to keep up with no Joneses, and we didn't care if someone had a better car. A car was a car. It got us from A to B, that we were cool with that. If you're trying to buy cars because you're trying to keep up a certain image, a $20,000, $50,000 car that you can't afford, then you're not in the 90s. You're still in present day. We didn't have a problem with shopping at the thrift stores or the Goodwill. Nowadays, people want to be able to avoid that. I go to the thrift store, I see a lot of people over 40 in there. I don't see no 20-year-olds in there. I see a lot of people 45 and over in the thrift stores. And I don't understand why these thrift stores aren't packed to the door. They should be packed to the door at times are so hard. It means people are still doing modern day stuff. It's keeping them broke. And I don't understand it. You know that buying a lot of fruit is expensive. So what is the problem with having a sugar orange slice? What is the problem with that? I mean, it's sugar. Sugar is sugar. I don't understand why people keep complaining about these times, but will not leave these times. You don't have to be in this time period. You don't. You can go back to the blue jeans, blue jean jacket, hoodies, sneaker wearing every day in the 90s type of energy, and only got a couple of nice dresses to wear to go places. I'm seeing some people on the lifestyle channels, especially in the black community. They got these fancy smancy expensive closets with all this fancy smancy stuff. And then they want to panic when their views go down, when they're struggling, when they ain't get no donations, when the rent's too high. And I'm like, well, look at your closet though. Like I literally still have several gift cards that I got over the past year. Why? Because I'm in my 90s energy. I bought this hoodie off season. See this? This is a nice hoodie. Look. I bought this off season. I bought this in the spring. I didn't buy this fall. Some of my fall clothes I bought in the spring, half off, 50%, 60, 70% off. That's how we did it in the 90s. We weren't buying everything at regular price. Half the stuff we bought was on sale. And we only time we had an expensive hairdo, really expensive hairdo, is when it was for a very special occasion. Other than that, we went and got our little $20 hairdos at the beauty salon, or we did it ourselves. Everyone is trying to live like they already rich. Like, seriously. Seriously, like, we stayed in our lane in the 90s. We wasn't about quantity because we knew we wasn't rich. Quantity is for people that got money to burn. Do you actually have some money that you can actually go outside and burn and not miss? If you don't have that, then you should not even be thinking about quantity. You shouldn't even be thinking about it. We took real good care of our stuff in the 90s. We didn't even want a single scratch on our sneakers. This is real, y'all. We would get stain remover to get our stains out. If our shirts faded, then we just turned it into a tie-dye shirt. This is real. I can remember making $500 a week. Okay? I mean $500 every 2 weeks in the 90s and still seeing $300 sitting in my bank account the next week. You know why? Because we were like, I was like, I have nice clothes. What do I need to get something nice for? Let me see if I could work with what I got. Like, I don't understand why everybody can't work with what they got. I don't understand that. Like, I'm so confused. Like, this book here is $85. See this book? I got this book for $20. Okay? I've been waiting on this book to go on sale for 2 years. I finally was able to find this book for $20-something. The point that I'm making is having a lot of money is not what defines your riches. It's what you're doing with your money. It's what you're doing with your money. How mindful you are with your money. And this is what we do. This is what we're doing. Okay? My family. We're making old-fashioned meals. The old-fashioned way. You know, we've been tomatoes and sausage. You know how grandma used to make a big pot of sausage and give everybody a sausage link on their dinner plate? That's what we recently did. We made this big, enormous pot of sausage for the week. We wasn't doing all these different meals. We got us some canned soup. People say, ooh, that's what we drank. That's what we ate in the 90s. We ate canned soup. There's a homeless person that would love a can of soup right now. Okay, there was people that was in the Holocaust. They would have loved a can of soup. We have to stop complaining and always complaining about everything. I felt so free. I felt so free, y'all, when I broke my fast today with when I was able to just have my little cup of coffee. I had a little cup of coffee like this, little cup with a little bit of milk in it and a little bit of it was little, y'all. It was half. Instead of drinking 2 cups of coffee, I drank a half a coffee. A teacup, because that's what my mother drank in the 90s. She would have a teacup of coffee. That's straight up gratitude. Okay, and then when I ate, I had soup. I had canned soup and a sausage link. And I had cucumbers. For lunch, I had, this is going to sound weird, y'all, but we did this. I had oatmeal, okay, and I had some eggs. Believe it or not, in the 90s, we would eat boiled eggs as a snack. We would come in and grab one of Grandma's boiled eggs that she had sitting out. And we would sometimes have that for lunch instead of sitting down and having a whole lunch meal. We would go to Grandma's kitchen or Mama's kitchen and we would grab a boiled egg and an oatmeal bar or a pack of walnuts or almonds. See, that's gratitude. And then we would grab us some sweet tea. We would go in and get some sweet tea, Grandma's sweet iced tea, maybe have 2 boiled eggs and some oatmeal. And be in an oatmeal bar or something like that, a granola bar, and go on back outside and play. That's what we did, y'all. And we would have a piece of little candy on the side like this. We'd have a piece of sugar candy like this. With an oatmeal granola bar, some boiled eggs, and some sweet tea. And we be all high energy up, y'all. That's real cheap. That's real cheap. That's cheap food. But can you imagine how much money that saves? That saves money. And I can't believe that people don't understand. It's really super easy to survive. It's easier than people think it is. If you just really love what you got. Like, foresee yourself with your stuff before you buy it. Like, can I wear this every day? Yes, I can do. I see myself wearing this a year. Yes. If you know your authentic self, I'm telling you no lie. You'll be more mindful with your money. We knew who we were in the 90s. We knew who we wanted to be. We knew who we were. And we dressed and we acted the way we were, way we wanted, regardless of what society thought. If I was a girl that liked to wear short shorts, I wore short shorts. It didn't matter if the girl next door was getting attention by wearing a in vogue dress. If it wasn't me, I wouldn't do it. It costs more money trying to keep up with other people. It costs more money being fake and untrue to yourself. I'm telling you no lie. I'm telling y'all no lie. I'm cool with my sweet. I have I don't need a salad. We didn't always have salads in the 90s. Sometimes we had a pickle or a cucumber. This was our salad. This was our salad. I'm keeping it real, y'all. Normally, when we had a salad, it would be with dinner sometime. Normally, at lunchtime, if we had a salad, it was like a real small little salad, or we would have a pickle. I remember me and my girlfriend going out for lunch, and when we would go out to get food for lunch, we would normally get like we would stop somewhere, grab a granola bar, or grab something with oats or something in it. You know, because at lunchtime your energy is low. You're trying to get your energy up for the next half of the day. So how we did it in the 90s, we would go get something sweet for lunch. We would eat the oats, you know, or the bread. We would get our carbs in at lunchtime. And we might have a pickle on the side. We didn't always have salad. And our protein was normally boiled eggs, or it was a piece of fish, or it was some beef jerky, something of that nature. The salads was normally prepared by our parents. So we would and which was normally dinner food. Unless we was in school, then we was able to get a little small salad. But to be honest, we was too busy having fun. Our energy, our vibration was so high that we wasn't really thirsty for food like that. Like at lunchtime, I remember in school, I would sit there and I would have the peaches, and I would probably have just some chips. I would have the carbs and the peaches, and maybe some chocolate milk. And that would be it. I would have that for lunch. That would be it. Half the time, at lunchtime, I wouldn't even eat the meat. It was like, I'm cool. Like I think we exaggerating how much protein we actually need. Like we're overdoing it. We're literally overdoing it. I mean, if you're eating your king meal for dinner, why would you need a lot of protein for your lunch? Your king meal is dinner time. So of course your protein would be kind of high. The lunch menu is getting into the queen food, small game. So if you have your protein at lunch, it would be like sardines, salmon, or something like that. Or be like, I'm cool, I'll just have me a can of tuna. Like if we needed protein back in the day for lunch, we would have a can of tuna, or we would have a piece of salmon or something of that nature. Now that's if it wasn't the weekends and we wasn't running around. But to be honest, sometimes we went to the mall. We would have a small chicken salad somewhere. We never ordered the full size salads you see everybody eating. Our salads were like that small. When we went to the mall and we had lunch at the mall, we would get their small salads and small chicken salad and maybe a pretzel, like one of their salted pretzels at the mall. And then we would get a small slushy or something for our sugar. And then we would just keep macking it at the mall after that. But a lot of us, we're not doing that. I'm telling you no lie, like, if you just start incorporating a lot of 90s stuff, exactly, we're all eating oversized food, and we think it's the right size. They're tricking us. Society is tricking you to think that you're eating the right portion size when you're not. Whenever we would go out for French fries, right, y'all, in the 90s, and we would get the big container of fries, it was like 3 of us eating those fries. When we would get that container of fries, did they give you at Kennywood? Did they give you at Kennywood? All right, old Kennywood, where the fries would be flowing over the container. It would be 3 of us eating out the same fries. Now, when you go to Kennywood and you see people eat fries and their fries are stacked this high, they're eating them by themselves. They're eating them by themselves. That's not the way to do it. That's not the way to do it. We would cruise. We never went and got a bunch of books at the library. We would check out one or two books, read those books, and then return them and then get two more. Now we're just like, it's like everybody's a troll and don't realize they're a troll. Like, I'm keeping it. It's like the whole world is turning into trolls. The troll movie with those big troll things. Those, everybody's turning into that and don't realize it. You know, it's crazy. It's We had people back then who had fuller faces and bigger faces like I got. But we didn't have a lot of people with real big bellies. I don't have a real big belly. I'm actually layered up. I have real big breasts. But what I'm saying is, what made me realize why we look so good and why everybody in the family looks so good then is because we of the 90s lifestyle. The lifestyle of the 90s. See, everyone's trying to rework. Just go ahead and talk to people who are from the 90s. Look, when we was in the 90s, we liked school. We actually liked school. I know that sounds crazy. We wanted to go to work. We was excited about going to work. Even if work was toxic, we were just happy to be able to cash a check. We need to get back into that energy. The fact that somebody chose to hire you, the fact that you were chosen, the fact that you can make some money, and somebody out here going on 30, 40 interviews and not getting that job, you should consider yourself grateful. That's how we felt. That's how we felt in the 90s. We always told ourselves, well, at least I'm going to cash my check, so I don't care. That's the that's the energy we was in. We was like, I don't care. They can be toxic, ignorant all they want on the job. I'm not fired. I didn't get fired. And I'm going to be cashing my check, so we don't care. That's the energy that we had. And we wasn't worried about climbing and promotions. We were just worried about keeping our job, going to work, and cashing our checks. Like, wasn't nobody fighting over promotions and all that in the 90s. People say, I got my job. I woke up to my job today. I was able to go to my job today. I'm grateful. And then if we got free help, we was humble. We didn't act entitled. We was humble and gracious and thankful. We need that energy back, y'all. And that's what my family's doing. That's what my family's doing. We're being grateful of the little of anything that we're able to do. Just anything. Like, my daughter went to Kennywood. Okay, everybody know Kennywood is very, very, very expensive now. Their tickets are very high. But I sent my daughter $60. Everybody like, that's not a lot. But guess what? Back in the 90s, we didn't even go to Kennywood with $60. We went to Kennywood with $30. I sent my daughter $60. You know what my daughter said? I just want to be able to play a game or two, Mom, and eat. Because my check didn't clear or whatever, and neither did my man's check. Our checks didn't come through yet. And we want to make sure the bills is all paid first. I said, that's fine. Notice she said, I just want to be able to get something to eat and play a couple of games. That's how we was in the 90s. That's how we was. If we was able to get a funnel cake at Kennywood, which was like, what, $4 and something, it was cheap. And if we was able to play like $15 in games, we were cool with that. But nowadays, everybody trying to do too much. Everybody trying to prove that they got it made, that they got an endless amount of money. Like, why is everybody worried about that? You showed up, you can have fun. That's enough. Like my family, we started watching one movie over 2, 3 days now. Like we used to do back in the 90s. Sometimes it would take us 2 days to finish one movie. Why? Because we wanted to talk to each other. We wanted to get some writing done, some creative art done before going to bed. We needed to clean. We needed to do stuff. So what we do here now is we watch a movie in two parts, like half the movie today, the other half tomorrow. Or we watch 30 minutes of a series today and 30 minutes of a series tomorrow. That way we're not overdoing it with watching TV, and we're not ignoring each other, and we're not being neglectful of ourselves or each other, and we're not hanging out on the internet all the time. I think that we just need to go ahead and trash and throw away. We need to throw away how we've been doing things in this generation. We just do, y'all. We have to stop complaining about not having automobiles and cars. Look, did you got feet? You can get a bus pass. There's bus transportation. Why are you complaining about that? I just saw a video of a guy on YouTube who is literally depending on his bike. He works as a waiter. He has a bike. He's sleeping outside for a couple days, and he looks pretty good. He's in shape and everything, and he's in that energy like in the 90s. Like, oh well, at least I still got my job. You know, at least I got a way to get to work. He's grateful for his little bike. You know, I was in that energy for a while of, oh, we need more than one car. We need a couple of cars. No, we don't. We had one. Some of the families back in the 90s only had one car. And if a family had more than one car, nobody cared. Nobody cared. And if people bragged about how many cars, it was considered tasteless. That person was considered unattractive at that point. Nobody would deal with that person. That's how you got to treat people nowadays who are in that quantity type of energy and showboating. Say, no, you know what? We can never talk again because you're modern. You're present day energy. You're bad for society. Somebody wants to brag and talk about how expensive their house was, how they paid off their mortgage, how they bought a couple of cars and all this. Those are the people that's not good for society. Because back in the 90s, your success was a private thing. Wasn't nobody publicizing it all out in these streets and stuff. You know, bragging wasn't attractive back then. It just wasn't attractive. You was considered toxic or just a turnoff. You know, I remember breaking up with guys back in the 80s and early 90s because they were bragging. It was like, ooh, they're unattractive. Like, ooh. You know, I would hear women say, he's conceited, he's arrogant. All he do is talk about himself. Now, I don't want to date him. But nowadays, it's like we're normalizing that. We're normalizing people being bragging. Like, it's like, okay. Don't normalize that. People that think their material possessions make them who they are. People who want brownie points for doing something that they feel you should do too, that they done. Most times people won't even talk about what they got until they find out what you don't got. Y'all, it's becoming even more common out in the streets now. I can't begin to tell you how many people I didn't talk to out here, just outside my house. Within a second, they want to brag about how they buying another house, how many houses they buying, how many people's bills they paying and all that. So they got money to burn. I'm telling y'all, it's going on out in these streets too. And back in the day, that was a turnoff. You know, the community was about helping each other. In the 90s, communities were tightly knit. Now everybody's like every man for theyself. The people that says every man for theyself, them is the people that's ruining society. I'm just all about me and mine. Nope. No. Those are modern people. Those are modern people. Everybody want to think that modernism is just present day energy, is just obesity. Modernism is when you in that mindset, I'm all about me and mine. That I'm just taking care of me and my family, everybody man for themselves. You one of the people of the group of people that's saying every man for themselves. You're making up that group of people. That's becoming a trend now. It's really trending. Every man for themselves. I don't want nothing to do with these times. You know, I'm done. It's gotten way out of hand. Me and my family done. Me and my family here, we're done with people that's me and myself, me and mine. We got family members like that. We got family members like that. They won't, like, they'll get things that they know we need to get to and won't tell us how to get it because they all about theirs. So we shut down all the Christmases and stuff. We're not doing none of the people. We're not doing holidays with them or nothing. We're done. We're done. Because we always share everything. My family share everything with family members. Our casa, my casa is your casa. But we got family members that they're not like that, so we don't see them anymore. We got family members that built their house from scratch, rebuilt it. They won't even help us get the connections to do our house. They won't even help. But they want to sit up there and claim us as family members. So we're doing the way people did it in the 90s. You're not about community service work. You're not about helping each other. Then you're just nobody out in these streets. You're nobody. And people that was just all about themselves, back in the 90s, nobody wanted to hang out with them. I know people I went to school with. Okay? High school with. Women, nobody liked them because they was just all about themselves. Y'all see how I'm eating these? This is what we used to have. These is no different than eating popsicles. There's nothing wrong with having popsicles, push-up pops, ice cream sandwiches. You just got to be careful of how much you have. And make sure you brush your teeth before you go to bed so the sugar don't sit there and bathe in your teeth all day. I don't know why we all jumped on this trend. No sugar diet. No. That's modern, y'all. I'm sorry, that's modern. If you think they wasn't eating sugar back in the 1950s, you're wrong. Let me tell you, they was putting sugar in their tea. They was eating tea through their day. Back in the 1950s and the early 1900s, they was eating tea through their day, 2-3 lumps of sugar in their tea. And here we are saying, I'm sugar-free. And then we wonder why we're all fatigued and no energy, why we can't clean our house. When I get off this video, I'm going to be busting it out in this kitchen. Why? Because I had my sugar. I've had my sugar. Mother Nature's sugar is not that strong anymore. I'm telling y'all, this fruit is weak as heck. It's nowhere near as strong as it used to be. Oh, it's disgusting. It's disgusting that everything's on. I was just talking to a family member about that. I was just talking to a family about that. Glitter Wars. I said, I want these pictures printed up. I don't want selfie pictures and photos on the side. I was literally just telling the family member that. That's a synchronicity. I literally said, I'm taking these pictures and I'm going to Walmart getting prints. This is disgusting that I can't see these pictures in my hand. It just did something to me not being able to just go to my photo album and get my pictures. It's crazy. I'm done, y'all. I'm gonna have my popsicles and my sugar every single day. All this myth, sugar's blocking you from God. Really? 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 Like sugar give you diabetes? No, sugar alone does not give you diabetes. Y'all, I'm just saying, okay? We wasn't running around all diabetic up in the 90s. We wasn't, and we was eating sugar every day. It's all the high fat diet that everybody's eating. Back in the 90s, we had high fat only when we was only when we had burned a whole lot of calories. If we went dancing on Friday nights and Saturday nights, then we would get pizza or greasy burgers. But if we wasn't out dancing and clubbing and turning up all night, burning all them calories, we didn't eat high fat foods. That's something that my family stopped doing. We're cool. We're like, no, that's okay. If we don't want the meat that we got, we have a bowl of cereal for dinner rather than running for takeout. I mean, we got to get back to that. Exactly. That's another reason why a lot of people are stuck. People got all kind of people running around with their pictures. All this channeling, chanting, praying, weird stuff being done to people's pictures, and people are like, why am I so blocked? Why is all this happening to me? In the 90s, y'all, pictures was a special gift. We took a picture with a Polaroid or whatever. We went to the print store, got a printout, and a picture was selected and given to a friend or somebody close or a bestie. Now it's like anybody got people's pictures now. It's crazy, y'all. That's true. Anybody got people's pictures. People don't hold nothing sacred anymore. Videos, pictures, phone calls. Don't nobody respect people's privacy. Whew. It's crazy. Recording people for no reason. Just having random people recorded in your videos, people you don't know. We wasn't doing all that stuff. Like, I never forget me and my cousin. It was in 1999 or something, right when cell phones were getting real popular. Okay, it was like 1999 or year 2000 or something. Around that time, me and my cousin went dancing. Okay, she had graduated with her bachelor's, and I was in, I think, my third year of college. Okay, I had went back. So we were celebrating. We went dancing. And y'all, I was looking like, what the heck's going on here? I saw flashes, right? I was like, cuz, these people taking videos and recording us. Who the hell is these people? Y'all was just so shocked that these dudes, random dudes, complete strangers, was taking pictures of us and videotaping us. I was like, what? And I was like, cause my legs, I had bad legs. Okay, my legs gorgeous. Okay, so I had on a blue jean skirt. I guess they wanted a picture of me with my blue jean skirt on, and wanted to have a picture of some woman with gorgeous legs. I would always have men say, "You got gorgeous legs." I even get it today. But my point is, they taking pictures of some random woman's legs, minding her business, dancing. Like, and it what's funny is that everybody around them was dancing, wasn't doing that. These people thought these dudes thought because they was able to afford a flip screen phone, and they had video camera and they could just take pictures of some random women. All was toxic. Me and my cousin was like, I don't know if we going out no more. These people don't respect. They don't that no respect. I said I cannot believe that there was big bright flashes in our eyes the whole time. And it was the same dudes just videotaping us over and over and over again. It was disgusting. It's no privacy, y'all. Y'all, let me tell y'all what happened to me. 10 years ago, when I went on my weight loss journey, y'all remember, some of y'all may remember 10 years ago on this channel, okay, when I first started my YouTube. Some of y'all remember how lean I was. All right, I had got really lean again. I was down to like 130, looking really snatched, really good. All right. I'm about to beat that weight. Give me 2 months, y'all. I'm about to beat that weight because I'm doing the 90s diet. I figured out what was keeping me from losing the weight is because my sugar, my glucose, my sugar was too low. Okay, I was having moments where my sugar was too low. So it was kind of messing me up. But anyway, I never forget, I was going out dancing, doing the 90s lifestyle, clubbing. I was having the time of my life 10 years ago, y'all. I'm about to get back in that energy start next week. But anyway, don't you know, I happened to go to the same club a couple years ago, and this girl tapped me on my shoulder and said she got a bunch of videos of me. And I said, excuse me, how do you got a bunch of video recordings of me? She said, I've been recording you for years. Y'all should have saw my face when she said that. I was like, excuse me? She was like, you was coming here some years ago dancing, and there's a guy that would ask you to dance, and you would say, yeah, and I would pull out my phone anytime he asked you to dance. And anytime any of the guys asked you to dance, and then this one guy, I would always videotape you if you danced with them. Y'all, I was so appalled. This woman said she got a collection of me dancing all the way back from like, y'all, 2014. I mean from 2014. This woman sits in the same shadowed area of the bar, okay? Because the way the dance floor is, like, you're dancing around, she's sitting over there. So she's kind of leaning over with her phone like this. She's at the edge of the bar, and she must be zooming in, like tapping her thingy, her phone, and recording me. She never told me her name. I was like, ma'am, I don't like that. Like, no, ma'am. And she was like, well, I just be looking at them and I be enjoying when you be dancing and all of that. So I got a lot of, when that guy over there asks you to dance a couple times, I videotaped y'all, but I got a lot of videotapes of you dancing. This is a woman of color too, totally disrespectful. Totally. Of course, she's under 45. She's in her 30s. She's in the generation that do not respect people's privacy. It's crazy. Well, now they banning cell phones. They banned cell phones in some of the nightclubs, in some of the gyms. They didn't got tired of it, y'all. Now on certain nights when you go to the nightclubs, they tell you you can't bring cell phone in, or they make you turn your cell phone off. And if you put your cell phone on, they throw you out. Somebody had a whole video on YouTube talking about certain states is doing that because people are not respecting other people's privacy. They're videotaping people dancing and make fun of them. And it's to do toxic things with the videos. They're selling the videos, and all that type of stuff. Yep. That's what they need to do. They need to say, if you want to bring your cell phone in, $20. They need to make it kind of high. $15 to bring your cell phone in. And you cannot videotape the floor. You can videotape each other, who you with, but if I see your cell phone aimed at the dance floor with people dancing, you're going to be escorted out. They need floor people at the clubs now. They need floor people in these bars. Like, you're videotaping. Show me the video, delete it, and now you got to go. Because people are videotaping people also to track them. Like, oh, this is what you look like. To show people, show your enemies. Some of your enemies is recruiting people to videotape you when you're at parties and clubs. It's putting people's life in danger. It's putting people's life in danger. People are videotaping people, sending the videos to people who don't like them. Those people are coming there to go after them. There's fights breaking out in bars and clubs because somebody sent a picture of somebody dancing with somebody's man or dancing with somebody. Y'all, it's dangerous. Yeah, that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. They're videotaping you and they're showing their friends. Like a lot of women who are videotaping other women, they're showing their friends who may not like you, and then like having a gossip column about you. They might even have a whole Facebook section of their page where it's like all about you, laughing at you. And young girls be videotaping older women and hate on them to be like, look at this old woman, thinks she's still young and stuff and all that. It's crazy. I stay having young girls videotaping me. I be like, they videotaping me because they're jealous. I was at a nightclub like about 3 years ago, and this little group of young girls, they kept on turning their phone. They're aiming their. I would move on the side. They would turn their phone. I would dance and turn my back and go that way. They would turn their phone. The flash was in my eye the whole time, y'all, no matter how I moved. These girls were standing on the actual floor doing this. And I was like, dag. I got tired of it. It was like, dag, man. I was like, dag. And I went and sat down. And then once I went and sat down, and the dude I was dancing with, once he went his own way, that's when they got off the dance floor. And it was so creepy, y'all. Like, I could not look. I couldn't even turn and look towards the bar because it was like three big cell. They had the big cell phones too. The flashes were in my eyes like this, and every time I tried to get away from the flash, they followed me. It was a whole posse of young girls doing it, and I was just like, and I felt jealous energy. They was jealous because I had on shorts and I was thick. And they were like, because I caught one of them like looked me up and down, and I'm like, they was jealous because they like, oh, this is an older woman in her 40s with the gray in her hair, but she thicker than a Snicker, and she got the shorts on, and her, she's built. So they were trying to videotape me to say, oh, this woman thinking she built, she thinks she could dance and all this. She need to take her old butt home or whatever, just trying to find something, because they couldn't hate on my body. They couldn't hate on my body. So they wanted to try to say, oh, this is the problem with older women still acting young. We can act any way we want to act. That's another problem I'm having with this generation. Always so worried about who's acting young, acting old. Mind your business. Like, Back in the 90s, we really didn't care if somebody 40 was walking around with shorts on. We didn't care about that. If a 40-year-old walked down the street with leggings on and stilettos, that's their business. We wasn't saying, ooh, take your old butt home, sit your butt down and go die alone. We wasn't saying that type of stuff. It's getting out of hand. Okay? I'm seeing a lot of people of this generation not respecting the boundaries of the older generation. And I'm trying to wonder, like, why did we get this far? Like, this guy put a video up the other day. You don't have to respect the elderly if you don't want to. I'm like, this is really gone downhill. Because what are these elders doing to you out in these streets? If they're minding their business, walking down the street, why do you have to disrespect them? I mean, I see if they disrespect you. But if somebody get elder minding their business, what is the problem with being respectful? Saying, excuse me, pardon me. What is the problem with that? And then if an older person beat up a young person, they're going to say, why did that older person put their hand on somebody young? But everybody's saying that young people can disrespect elders, though. Now, make it make sense. If one of us older people over 40 went and beat some of these young girls down because we well trained in fighting, we've been fighting since the 80s and the 90s, we'd be considered abusive, right, to the younger generation. But the younger generation is given a pass for disrespecting us. But, even on this channel, people keep calling me, oh, auntie, y'all. Look, we didn't call nobody auntie in the 90s unless it was actually our auntie. We wasn't saying somebody, all because they had some gray in her hair. We had friends who were in their 20s with gray in their hair already. We had friends born with gray in their hair. It's not common nowadays to see people born with gray, but I knew people who were born gray, albino, silver, blonde hair, though they were black. I'm trying to understand why nowadays. Why nowadays we attacking each other over anything. Anything, and thinking we know how old each other are, thinking we know. It's ridiculous, I got 38-year-old women talking to me like I'm 60 up on this channel. There's a couple women I had to stop talking to over the phone that I met through YouTube because they kept talking to me like I was in my 60s. Like I was old enough to be their mama twice. It was like when I asked them to call me by my first name, they didn't want to. When I told them to call me by my first name, they would keep saying, miss this, miss that, miss this, miss that, and keep talking to me. They was pulling me into that energy like, you should be my mom or my auntie. Like trying to force me into that energy. And I'm like, I'm not, no. And it was getting on my nerves, y'all. It was getting on my nerves. When I wanted to talk about my social life and my love life, it was like I wasn't allowed. I had to be their unpaid therapist mama. Like I had to just hear about their life all the time. Like I was their mom and I was their auntie. And I was just like, this is very disrespectful because, like, I wasn't even about to turn 50. Yeah. Yeah. Yet I was being treated like I was their mom. It's just been so disrespectful. It's ridiculous. Like I literally have been gray since 35. I've been had this gray. I used to color my hair, y'all. I just stopped because I don't want them chemicals in my hair. But my thing is, ever since I've been showing my gray, it's been sit your old butt down, lay down and die. You moderate, try to act young, auntie, grandma. I'm like, okay. Even though I've been gray since 35, since my early 30s. It's okay. We're gonna roll like that. It's wild. I be seeing 50-year-olds who colored her hair. Nobody's calling them auntie though. Okay, nobody's calling them auntie. And I'm like, I didn't stood outside with women in their 50s and 60s, and they talking to me like I'm their age. They talking to me like I know the problem, like I know what they going through. Now I don't know what you're going through. I'm not in my 50s. Like I'm not in my 50s. I don't have grandchildren. Like I don't have grandchildren. Y'all stay having old heads. And they up in their 50s and 60s be like, yeah, I'm paying the bills of my grandchildren. And they think I'm going to say, yeah, my grandchild. I'll be like, I don't know nothing about that, miss. I don't know nothing about that. Okay. I don't know nothing about that. People keep putting years on me, and it's so disrespectful. I had to cuss this dude out, right? He kept on talking to me like I was his age. He was in his 60s. 60s. And he kept saying, yeah, the younger generation, this and this and that, this and that. It's just the way he kept talking like I was his age. I said, wait a minute here. I said, you keep saying these young bucks in their 40s and 30s. I said, you keep forgetting I'm in my 40s, brah. And then he was even doing it when I was 39. I was like, I'm 39, brah. He was like, oh, I always forget. I'm like, I don't know. You're going by the gray in my hair. You're disrespecting me. I had to literally put him in his place because he kept talking to me like when he was like documenting the area, and he was talking to me like I knew what the area was like back in the 50s. I'm like, boo, I wasn't born in the 50s. You're talking about this city in the 50s. I wasn't even thought of yet. Y'all, I had to put him in his place. It's crazy. It's wild, y'all. This is why I'm going back to the 90s where people just minded their business. You know, if you talk behind somebody's back, you got beat up. That's why a lot of people was like, I ain't talking about I'm not talking about nobody behind their back because I don't feel like fighting. Nowadays, it's just like normalized. Like, I talk about you online, anybody in the neighborhood, everybody. It's like, y'all, I don't know. I do not know, y'all. It's really out of control. I had to tell somebody in my family recently. I said, stop trying to pull me in the energy like I'm old. I'm not even in my 50s. Stop disrespecting me. They kept saying, when you older, you get tired. You're running the streets. You want to run the streets. I said, why would I want to run the streets? I'm not in my 50s and 60s. I'm going to run up and down these streets if I want to. I had to literally tell them, don't try to talk to me like I need to slow down. They was like, you need to slow down. I said, no, I don't need to slow down. I'm not over 50. I'm not even in my 50s, brah. I don't need to slow down. They said I need to slow down. And not everybody want to run around when they get older. That I need to, I need to settle down and relax more. I said, I don't want to relax. I'm not even 65. I'm not old. No. They were like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? What else to do? I said, I want to do everything. I want to travel. I want I want to go outside. I want to go dancing. I want to go on picnics. I want to do everything. Some of us older people tired. I said, that's you. But I'm not your age. I'm younger. I'm like 10 years younger than you, brah. 10 years younger. And you beat up your body. I told my family, you beat your body up and you're 10 years older than me. You're not slowing me down. You slow yourself down. Y'all. Y'all, I'm telling you. My family try to treat me like I'm out there, y'all. They try to treat me like I'm out there because they try to put. They want me to go into they want me to go into that 60-year-old energy. Was like, you just kick it around the crib. You just kick it and you kick it. Go to the store, go home, watch it, read the newspaper, look at watch TV. Cook it hang around the crib and stuff. I can't tell, like, I'm not in my 60s. I'm not even in my 50s, so stop asking me to get in that energy. I had to put a couple people in their place when I was hanging out with people in their 30s when I was like 42. When I was hanging out with people that was like 38 and I was 42, people kept giving me dirty looks. When I was in my late 30s and I was hanging out with people that was like 29, when I was 35, hanging out with people with 29, people was giving me dirty looks. And I'm like, why is everybody giving me dirty looks? And my friends was like, they looking at you like you hanging out with somebody young and you old. I said, I'm getting tired of people looking at me like I'm some old head ripping and running with young bucks. I was like, I'm on like 3 years older than some of y'all in this group. But people keep on acting like I'm a cougar or something. When I was hanging out with my cousins who were in their 30s and I was 42, my 38-year-old cousin, I was 42, people were looking at me like I was a cougar. Like people would laugh and be like, like I'm robbing a cradle or something. I'm like, first of all, this is my cousin. Second of all, I'm only like 3 years older than my cousin. Like, this is not a cougar situation. It was young girls, like giving him dirty looks, like, why are you hanging out with that old lady? And I'm like, I would be looking at them like, don't let me pull out my ID. Don't. Let me tell y'all what else happened. I was hanging out with this group of people. And they knew they was like 60. Okay, but somehow, I don't know how they did it. They shaved and colored their hair. They was trying to look young or whatever, real young. So, I for a moment, like, I felt like they was talking down to me like I was a kid, right? I said, can I see everybody's ID? I realized that some of them were literally the same age as me, and some of them was a lot older, trying to act like we the same. So it was like two people in my group was talking to me like we was the same age. It was somebody 60 talking to me like I was 60, even though I was like 38. Then I had somebody who was my age in the group. They kept talking to me like they was older than me. Like, he was like trying to school me on everything. Like, the dude was like, yeah, you gonna need that car. That's what you gonna need. It's good to see you bringing yourself up. I mean, you would have thought this dude was like 60. When I found out he was in his 30s like me, I was like, what is going on with this? It's like, it's not only people changing, it's like men acting like women, women acting like men, and still claiming the same gender. It's even people switching ages. 60-year-olds being 40, 40-year-olds being 60. Like that. Somebody said sound you're pretty on so somebody would say sound you're pretty on the running kind. I don't know what you mean by that. But I was so shocked because this dude was always trying to school me, y'all. He not only was he trying to school me, he was trying to school me and my friends. And we'd be like, what's up with that? And then I found out he's in his 30s like me. I was like, why is he always acting like our dad though? It's y'all, I'm confused. It's getting real confusing. I want to go back to the 90s where everybody stayed in their lane. Okay? 40-year-olds is 40